What if I told you that even the tiniest patio could become the most luxurious part of your home without spending a fortune? These aren't just design ideas, they're transformations you can actually make happen. From dreamy hammock corners to rainy day sanctuaries, today's video is filled with 16 stunning garden setups that anyone can DIY. This is Backyard Fortune, and we believe beauty belongs in every backyard, big or small. Timestamps are included, so skip to what inspires you. And if you have a favorite or a question, drop a comment below, we read every one. One, lush tropical retreat for small patios. What if your patio, no matter how small, could become your favorite place on earth? In this tranquil scene, sunlight slips gently between banana leaves, painting soft golden shadows across a floor of uneven stone. Here, the world quiets. Terracotta pots brim with lemon balm and spearmint, their green rising joyfully against walls of coral and clay. A hammock hangs like a soft sigh between two sturdy poles, a book half open as if its reader just stepped away for a moment of stillness. This is more than a tropical garden. It is a breath, a return to rhythm, a space crafted not with perfection, but with peace in mind. Creating a lush patio retreat begins with intention, not size. A few bold planters in warm earthy tones or vibrant turquoise can bring vibrancy to a narrow space. Choose plants that thrive in partial sun, herbs, dwarf palms, snake plants, monstera, and arrange them where your morning light lingers. Use texture to soften the layout, rough stone underfoot, bamboo fencing for privacy, and a hammock or chair that invites rest rather than function. In the second corner, the garden climbs vertically. Deep blue and burgundy pots shine like jewels beneath a calm sky. The contrast between the structured rattan chairs and the wildness of the leaves creates balance, a place that is curated but not controlled. This is the beauty of tropical design. It lets things grow, spill, reach. Let your plants lean into the light, let them fill the air with presence. Add a small fountain if you can. Even the sound of a slow trickle transforms the feel of the space. String lights stretched along the edge of a wall don't just offer light, they offer story. As dusk settles, they turn your balcony into a lantern-lit retreat. Pair that glow with natural fibers, jute rugs, woven seats, handmade planters, and your patio becomes a sanctuary, a pocket of calm above the noise of everyday life. And finally, let's step into a space that feels like an island dream. Surrounded by lush tropical growth, a bamboo table rests between handcrafted chairs. The air is warm, the mood quietly celebratory. A pair of cold drinks wait under the filtered sun, framed by leafy textures and colors that feel both grounded and magical. Artificial grass softens the floor while tall planters guard the edges, creating a green wall that embraces you like a secret garden. This kind of luxury isn't about budget or scale. It's about knowing what brings you calm and giving that feeling a place to bloom. Start with one pot, one chair, one afternoon of planting. Add life slowly, lovingly. And before you know it, you'll have not just a patio, but a tropical retreat that welcomes you back day after day. Two, charming Mediterranean patio makeover. There are places where time slows, where light lingers a little longer on stone, and the air tastes faintly of lemon and rosemary. Somewhere in a small Mediterranean patio, a white lace tablecloth sways gently in the breeze. A tiny round table, just big enough for 2 glasses and a quiet morning, sits nestled beneath the shade of a lemon tree heavy with fruit. Around it, terracotta pots in every shape and age hold vibrant marigolds and trailing herbs. Each pot tells a story, some cracked, some moss-lined, all part of a space that doesn't try to impress, only to welcome. Creating a Mediterranean-inspired patio doesn't require a sea view or a grand courtyard. What it needs is warmth, in color, in texture, and in presence. Earthy tones like burnt orange, terracotta, and creamy stone are your foundation. Aged planters, whether found at flea markets or repurposed from your own garden, bring instant authenticity. Use herbs like lavender, thyme, and rosemary not only for their scent, but for the way they soften the air and invite bees and butterflies to visit. In the next frame, shutters painted in coastal blue add a splash of storybook charm. The stone walls, rough, imperfect, sun-kissed, cradle a bench that seems to have waited generations for someone to sit. Lemons lie scattered beneath a tree, and a linen throw rests carelessly over a wooden chair beside a glass of fresh lemonade. It feels lived in, slow, and personal. This kind of scene isn't designed, it's grown. The secret to recreating this look is to allow for softness. Don't aim for symmetry. Let your plants spill over their pots. Let your chairs be mismatched. If you have a wall, paint the shutters a shade that makes you smile. If you have only a floor, scatter the pots like you're arranging a melody, not a grid. And then, we step into a garden corner where the terracotta speaks louder than the flowers. A mosaic cafe table, round, sun-faded, beautiful, stands between 2 wrought iron chairs, the kind that creak gently when you sit. Above, bougainvillea spills like a blush across the sky, casting shadows that sway over cracked tile. Herbs line every ledge. Every surface is touched by sun, and yet nothing feels exposed. It's private, old world, and magical. You don't need a large space to create something that feels alive. You need texture. You need scent. You need time. So begin with a pot. Fill it with lavender. Add a chair. Hang something on the wall. Let nature and memory do the rest. What you'll create won't just be a patio. It will be a moment. One you'll return to again and again. Not because it's perfect, but because it feels like it belongs to you. Three cozy bohemian outdoor patio ideas. There are spaces that feel like whispers, not loud, not elaborate, but full of warmth and quiet joy. A bohemian patio, no matter how small, becomes a tapestry of textures, memories, and moments when built with heart. In this first space, a swing bench hangs gently beneath draped linen, floating between columns wrapped in vines. It doesn't need to say much. Just being there is enough. Around it, dried grasses rise tall in green glass bottles, casting soft, feathery shadows. Cushions in clay, coral, and taupe invite you to sink into stillness. A handmade blanket, maybe stitched by someone's grandmother, rests on the edge. Everything here breathes intention, not perfection. To create a boho corner like this, think in layers. Mix soft and coarse, round and square, old and new. Don't worry about matching. Worry about meaning. Use old glass bottles as vases. Let your plants be wild. Tuck dried flowers into cans. Let your rug be faded and your swing imperfect. Add a little music from the wind, and you've built a place where stories can begin. In another nook, the energy shifts, colorful, soulful, deeply alive. Mismatched rattan chairs circle a vintage trunk turned into a table. Kilim pillows, layered rugs, and bold patterns embrace every seat. Hanging ferns dangle from macrame ropes, and sunlight sneaks through canvas drapes. There's a cat curled in a basket, asleep in the late-day hush. A place like this doesn't need rules. It only needs people who bring their hearts with them. The trick to this design is to embrace the undone. Let your space evolve. Start with one rug. Add a chair. Layer pillows. Use what you have. Your grandmother's teacups, a suitcase with scratches, that old tablecloth you couldn't throw away. Here, everything has a place. And every corner tells a quiet story of comfort and character. As the sun lowers, we step into a final space bathed in golden hour light. Woven poofs in saffron, rust, and ocean blue form a circle around a wooden table no bigger than your lap. Candles flicker from clay jars and glass tumblers. The walls hold macrame weavings that sway like lullabies. Plants sit in terracotta pots, blooming softly under the amber sky. It feels like a lullaby wrapped in texture, a pause in time. This isn't just a place to sit. It's a place to feel. To recreate this mood, let light lead you. Use soft textures and handmade details. Let everything glow. Don't worry about cost. Some of the best pieces are made from scraps, from clay, from imagination. The magic isn't in the things. It's in the way they come together. Bohemian patios aren't perfect. They are personal. That's what makes them feel like home. Four, vibrant vertical garden for tiny patios. Sometimes, the most joyful transformations happen in the tightest corners, places forgotten, fenced in, or deemed too narrow to matter. And yet, when color meets care, these spaces awaken. In one tucked-away alley, ordinary fences become canvases. Bright cobalt, fuchsia, and tangerine pots cling to weathered wood like joyful declarations. Each pot overflows with begonias and soft ferns, creating a vertical bouquet. The path below, paved with uneven mosaic stones, leads to a whimsical bench kissed with color. It doesn't matter that it's small. It matters that it invites you in. This is not a garden made with rules. It's a place shaped by heart and scraps and leftover paint. A celebration of play and imperfection. What makes this design sing is the fearless use of color. Don't be afraid to paint your pots in the wildest shades you can find. Let your plants cascade naturally. The more varied, the better. Use whatever you have, a weathered bench, a mosaic made from broken tiles, leftover wood. This is a space that rewards those who see magic in the forgotten. Elsewhere, within a blue and terracotta courtyard, a vertical garden takes on a more structured grace. Metal grids cradle rows of planters in perfect formation, each one bursting with herbs, ivy, and little wildflowers. It feels like standing inside a living wall, hugged by greenery from every direction. A watering can rest beside a clay cup of tea, perched gently on a wooden crate. The cobblestone floor, softened with moss, tells you this space has been loved. This is not just a garden. It's a ritual. If you're dreaming of this effect, grids are your ally. Black wire panels are easy to find and install, and they open up a world of possibility. Pair them with terracotta or neutral planters, and let your herbs grow close to your breath. You don't need a giant backyard to feel like you've stepped into a secret garden. Just vertical space and a little patience. Then there's the most electric scene of all, a garden painted in light. Neon pots in turquoise, violet, and lime erupt across two vivid walls. Golden vines and succulent trails spill and spiral downward like nature dancing. A bright yellow chair sits boldly at the center, like the sun itself decided to stop and rest for a moment. This is joy, captured and planted. The lesson here is simple: don't hold back. If your spirit calls for bold colors, answer it. Paint your walls, arrange your pots in patterns, let contrast become the design. This isn't about rules, it's about freedom. Let each container be its own universe. When you look around, you'll see that even a few square meters can feel like a festival of growth. These small patios remind us that beauty doesn't ask for permission or space. It only asks for intention and a touch of courage to make it bloom. Five, overflowing flower garden for small spaces. There's something quietly powerful about a garden that refuses to be tamed, where flowers spill out of every container, where space is not measured by size but by feeling. Here, in a humble corner of a patio, terracotta pots of all shapes and heights gather like old friends. They huddle close, sharing warmth, soil, and sunlight. Orange marigolds laugh beside white daisies. Pink geraniums lean gently toward trailing petunias. And in the center, a modest wooden bench waits, its cushions softened by time and use. Overhead, simple wooden crates cradle more blooms, and fallen petals pattern the stone floor like confetti from a passing celebration. Nothing feels staged. Everything feels lived in. A reminder that beauty blossoms best when given permission to be imperfect. In another frame, morning light streams through the window and lands on a tiered white stand, the kind you'd expect to see at a tea party. But instead of cups and cakes, each level cradles tiny planters painted with pastels, filled with cheerful blooms. Lavender and zinnias stretch upward in clay pots, while a spilled container rests on its side, its soil and roots tumbling out as if caught mid-breath. Above it all, a string of bunting dances softly. It's a corner where time slows, where nature is allowed to move at its own rhythm, where mess and magic meet. And then, there is a nook drenched in golden sunlight, where flowers take center stage beneath an arch of woven vines and reclaimed metal. Coral roses bloom in waves beside proud yellow sunflowers. Petunias pour from their containers in purple cascades. And sweet peas climb eagerly around the archway, as if chasing the sun. A garden gnome peeks through the greenery, watching over the stage. The bench below invites you to sit, not just to rest, but to witness. Here, Every petal tells a story. Every inch of soil holds memory. The garden isn't just alive, it's performing. What ties these scenes together isn't grandeur, but intimacy. A sense of care. A layering of textures, colors, and scents that make you feel something the moment you step in. It teaches us that luxury doesn't require space, it requires soul. Cluster your pots. Mix your colors. Don't worry about symmetry. Let your flowers overlap, spill, tumble. Let them soften the hard edges of your space. Let them take over. Because sometimes, the most luxurious gardens aren't the biggest ones. They're the ones that make your heart pause and breathe. Six, minimalist patio oasis with pastel touch. When the world outside feels hurried and chaotic, there's magic in finding stillness in design. Spaces that breathe instead of boast, that embrace simplicity over spectacle. In this first tranquil patio, white wire chairs gather in quiet harmony around a low concrete table. There's poetry in their symmetry, softened by delicate floral motifs etched into the surface. Red geraniums in bold charcoal planters wrap the space in warmth and life, like laughter echoing softly in an otherwise hushed morning. The gray floor tiles stretch evenly beneath, clean and cool, letting the eye wander without effort. This space isn't designed to impress, it's made to calm. And that, in itself, is a kind of understated luxury anyone can create. Just a few steps away, another slice of serenity awaits. A narrow patio becomes a sanctuary with a soft gray sofa, carefully dressed in coral, turquoise, and patterned pillows. It's more than color, it's emotion, energy, joy. The white stucco walls reflect gentle light, casting a natural glow across the space. Around the perimeter, tall snake plants and soft ferns rise from matte black planters, their sculptural lines bringing movement and structure to the setting. A simple white rug anchors it all, a grounding canvas that invites bare feet and slow mornings. You don't need grand gestures to build comfort. Just a few thoughtful choices, a touch of greenery, and textures that speak of home. And suddenly, even a tiny corner can feel like a gentle embrace. And then, the patio that greets the sunrise with quiet confidence. Coral-toned lounge chairs bask in warm light, resting on pale tiles that reflect the glow of the day. Their angles are sharp, their purpose clear. This is where stillness happens. A mint green planter stands nearby, cradling a single fern whose fronds cast delicate shadows on the wall. A glass table, light, nearly invisible, offers only what's essential. 2 mugs, a book, a pause. There's no clutter here. Just space to be. The muted colors and open layout whisper of elegance, but not the kind that requires grandeur. It's a beauty built from air, light, and restraint. In these patios, the message is clear. You don't need a massive garden or elaborate structure to craft luxury. What you need is intention, in color, in form, in feeling. These small patios remind us that refinement lives in the details, and that peace is possible anywhere, even in the most modest of outdoor spaces, when we choose simplicity as our foundation. Seven, fairy tale inspired whimsical patio design. In a quiet corner kissed by sunbeams, a fairy tale begins, not in a book, but in your own garden. Here, soft moss blankets the base of tiny, enchanted homes, nestled lovingly beside stacks of worn books and delicate teacups brimming with blossoms. Lace curtains drift gently with the breeze, parting like pages of a story waiting to be lived. The warm bulbs overhead glow like captured fireflies, casting a golden hue that invites dreams to linger. This patio isn't built with bricks and mortar alone. It's crafted with memory, imagination, and a tender heart for the magical. If you've ever believed in wonder, this is your place to build it. Just a few steps away, a pebble path meanders beneath a tiny white bridge, drawing you deeper into the magic. Painted mushrooms dot the mossy ground like characters in a woodland tale, while tree stumps offer their surfaces as charming resting places for tea and tiny hands. Around them, violet blooms and dainty daisies bloom like nature's own confetti. Overhead, paper lanterns sway gently, casting dappled shadows onto the garden floor. There's no rush here, only the crackle of a tiny faux fire, the stillness of a summer dusk, and the feeling that you've stepped into something sacred and small. With everyday items, logs, stones, paint, and flowers, you can turn any patio into this pocket of peace. Then comes the heart of the tale, a garden ringed by laughter and color. In the center stands a low wooden table, cut from a single tree, surrounded by pastel mushroom stools that look like they've sprung from a forest fair. Twisted vines arch above, cradling softly glowing lanterns, while floral cups dangle joyfully like ornaments from another world. Miniature doors peek out from planters, waiting for someone small and curious to knock. It's playful. It's pure. It's possible. With just a splash of paint, a few flower pots, and the willingness to believe, you can recreate this world of wonder right outside your door. Because what makes a patio luxurious isn't marble or brass. It's joy. It's creativity. It's the way sunlight falls across something you made with your own two hands, and the feeling of stepping into a space that reminds you, even now, that stories still grow in the garden. I8. Tranquil Zen Tropical Garden Corner. In a world that moves too fast, creating a patio that slows down time feels like a quiet kind of luxury. Imagine stepping barefoot onto cool stone tiles, where the shadows of palm fronds sway slowly in the breeze. A low fountain whispers in the background, not loud, not insistent, just present, like the gentle pulse of peace itself. Coral-toned cushions rest softly on rattan chairs, drawing the eye with a muted cheerfulness. This little zen corner, framed by tropical greens and bamboo textures, offers a retreat where you can sip tea, read a few pages, or simply breathe. And the beauty is, it doesn't take much, just intention, balance, and love for simple forms. A bamboo screen, a water feature, and layered greenery are all it takes to transform a corner into a sanctuary. Wander a little further in this visual journey and discover another intimate hideaway. A wooden deck hovers gently beside a still koi pond, where vivid fish glide through dark, glassy water. Bold bird of paradise blooms rise proudly from the edges, their colors alive in the golden light of morning. You don't need a grand garden to recreate this moment. A few tropical plants, a bench with plush cushions in earthy hues, and even a kiddie pool-turned pond can begin this magic. Scatter floor pillows to welcome grounded seating, and let natural textures lead the way. It becomes a meditation space without needing to be labeled one. It's where the rustle of bamboo or the hush of koi feels more healing than any app on your phone. And then there's the third space, a Zen garden that feels like it was whispered into existence. Stepping stones laid one by one across soft moss become a quiet path of mindfulness. Each footstep feels intentional, each curve of the garden designed to cradle peace. A tiny tea platform sits grounded in the greenery, wrapped by bonsai trees, smooth pebbles, and tiny lotus blooms dancing in still water. Here, every detail is humble but sacred. You could build this in your backyard corner or even on a wide balcony with a bit of soil and creativity. Use flat stones from your local nursery, plant slow-growing greens, and carve your own space of stillness. This isn't a garden for showing off, it's a garden for listening, for feeling, and for being. Each of these three spaces tells a different story, but they all share one message, that even the smallest patios can hold great beauty, and even the busiest lives can pause, if only for a cup of tea or the sound of wind through leaves. (9) Sun-kissed Mediterranean sunset garden. As the sun dips low and shadows stretch across the wall, a humble patio comes alive in golden hues. The lemon tree leans in, almost whispering its scent into the breeze. Beneath its dappled shade, a simple mosaic table rests, a terracotta cup left behind mid-sip, and a linen cloth dancing gently with the wind. This is no staged photo, but a living memory etched in warm tones and weathered textures. You can bring this kind of warmth to your own space with just a few touches. Repurpose aged walls, plant citrus in pots, and let imperfection become your canvas. It's proof that beauty needs no polish, only time and light. In a narrow Mediterranean corner, life spills out in color and scent. Bougainvillea vines pour like pink waterfalls over sunlit stone, while lavender, rosemary, and thyme push through cracked planters like stories refusing to be forgotten. A bench nestled between walls waits patiently, softened with worn cushions and woven baskets beneath. The air here is fragrant, the cobblestones imperfect yet full of personality. It's a place for tea at dusk or quiet morning pages. Even the blue shutters seem to smile. You can recreate this timeless charm with fragrant herbs, hand-thrown pots, and climbing blooms. No rules, only feeling. Then, there's the patio that welcomes you with laughter in the distance and the scent of marigolds dancing in the air. The cobbled ground may be uneven, the chairs mismatched, yet it's in this honest setting that the soul feels most at home. Striped cushions catch the light, lemonade sweats in glasses, and the trees overhead cast playful shadows on sun-washed walls. This is the kind of patio you create with your hands and your heart. A circle of chairs for friends, a simple table for memories, and flowers blooming not from perfection, but presence. Let your space feel lived in. Let it tell a story. Ten colorful patio party setup for any backyard. In a little sun-kissed corner behind a soft peach wall, joy explodes in a kaleidoscope of color. This patio isn't just a gathering space, it's a vibrant celebration of life itself. Pastel pink benches cradle playful flamingo floats, surrounded by picnic tables bursting with plates, glasses, and candlelight in every hue imaginable. From the ceiling, paper lanterns and string lights hang like suspended confetti, and buckets of fresh-cut blooms spill their color like laughter. It's a space that dares you to be bold, to decorate not for perfection but for joy. Recreate this look with repainted thrift benches, mason jars dipped in neon, and flower bouquets from your local market. You don't need a big backyard to host something magical, just a splash of color and the courage to be unapologetically cheerful. Beneath a canopy of rainbow umbrellas, a more playful scene unfolds. The checkered tablecloth feels like a picnic from childhood, and the surrounding blooms, daisies, cornflowers, gerberas, spill out of metal buckets like nature itself decided to join the party. There's something deeply comforting about the mismatch, the chairs, the cups, even the playful bunting fluttering overhead. Nothing matches, and everything works. This is the power of charm over polish. Add a giant garden game and a few flip-flops, and suddenly your backyard becomes a playground for all ages. If you're looking to DIY this look, focus on texture, contrast, and fun. Old chairs painted in pastel, fabrics torn into ribbon garlands, and as many flowers as your heart can hold. And then there's this quiet turquoise haven, a corner where sunshine meets lemonade. The fences have been reborn in a bold sea blue, holding box planters that burst with yellow marigolds and coral impatiens. Paper tassels sway overhead, casting moving shadows like whispers. On the fold-out bistro table, lemonade sits in mason jars, their cheerful straws nodding gently in the summer air. This patio is proof that even a tiny space can feel like a secret garden party. It takes just a coat of paint, some clever upcycling, and a fearless approach to color. It's the kind of setting that reminds us how much happiness can grow in a backyard when we treat it with imagination. Each of these little worlds invites you in, not to observe, but to join. To sit, to sip, to laugh. And most of all, to remember that luxury isn't always expensive. Sometimes, it's just a matter of color, sunlight, and saying yes to joy. (11) Vintage farmhouse patio with recycled charm. In the heart of the backyard, a symphony of color and delight awakens beneath the sun's golden gaze. A patio wrapped in bright turquoise fencing sings with the hues of summer, marigolds nodding in soft yellow above beds of coral and pink impatiens. Bunting sways in the breeze, ribbons of white and aqua dancing like whispers from a garden sprite. The table, unassuming and wooden, waits quietly with chilled jars of lemonade, their slices of citrus glinting like gems. This space teaches us that luxury doesn't always come from opulence, but from the joyful layering of textures, memories, and color. Even the smallest corners, with a few planters and paper streamers, can feel like a personal festival. Elsewhere, the mood shifts playfully. Here, rainbow parasols stretch wide like circus tents above a picnic scene that feels torn from a sun-drenched dream. A gingham tablecloth sprawls across the table, surrounded by chairs painted in pastel joy. Buckets brim with wildflowers, daisies, asters, poppies, spilling out in vibrant waves. The air feels alive with energy. Flip-flops lie forgotten beside a giant garden game, evidence of laughter echoing through the trees. This setup reminds us that elegance can be whimsical too. The trick lies in mixing what you already have: old chairs, scrap fabrics turned into bunting, flower pots arranged with wild abandon, to create a feeling, not just a look. And then, like a scene from a midsummer tale, another patio glows in shades of coral and blush. The walls embrace you with warmth, string lights zigzag above like fireflies caught in a gentle net. Inflatable flamingos lounge with pride atop cotton candy pink benches, while metal pails overflow with candy-colored blooms. The tables are dressed like royalty in their patchwork of napkins, candles, and laughter-ready glasses. This is where magic meets celebration. It doesn't aim to be perfect, and that's its secret. It's the spirit, the intentional joy of placing pink beside aqua, pairing plastic with petals, that transforms an ordinary patio into a fairy tale gathering. Underneath it all, whether soft lace or bright balloons, rustic crates or striped pillows, is a truth worth remembering. Beautiful doesn't mean expensive. It means layered with care, laced with joy, and built from things you already love. So let your patio become your canvas, a sanctuary of self-expression, sunlight, and quiet celebration. 12. Cottagecore patio retreat with vintage charm. Imagine stepping out onto a small patio that doesn't need grandeur to feel luxurious, just soul, softness, and a few repurposed treasures that tell stories louder than marble ever could. In one corner, old teacups and saucers, once sipped from during long-forgotten conversations, have been reborn as delicate planters. Filled with soil and chamomile, they perch gracefully on open wooden shelves inside a tiny vintage cabinet. The shelves are nestled between wicker baskets of daisies and lavender, while mossy stepping stones lead your footsteps gently into the scene. Fluttering curtains in sheer white frame this moment like a dream, while butterflies hover and candles flicker low. This is where time slows, where a whisper of imagination and a few upcycled finds transform a forgotten patio into a sanctuary of charm. You don't need a big budget to create something this beautiful, just a few forgotten items, a brush of greenery, and the willingness to believe that beauty comes from the smallest details. Nearby, a wooden dining table waits quietly beneath a curtain caught by the breeze. A soft gingham cloth drapes its surface, dotted with mismatched china cups, old jam jars now holding lavender, and scattered crumbs from a morning scone. Chairs, each unique in age and character, circle the table like old friends, some cushioned with linen, others plain but proud. The surrounding crates overflow with wild pastel blooms that climb, spill, and lean naturally into the space. This isn't just a patio, it's a celebration of repurposing, of giving life to things you already own. A few baskets, some stacked boxes, and soft flowering plants are enough to craft a dining nook that feels straight out of a romantic novel. Let the wind stir your curtains. Let the flowers grow wild. Let imperfection become part of the story. And just beyond, another nook waits, simpler still, but no less magical. A white bench with floral pillows rests against a red brick wall touched by ivy and thyme. The table in front is dressed in lace, holding vintage enamel jugs repurposed to cradle soft sprays of baby's breath and purple wildflowers. 2 lanterns hang gently from the wall, their white paint chipped from years of weather and warmth. There's a serenity here, a gentle nod to slower days when tea was brewed slowly and conversations stretched into the golden afternoon. The beauty of this space lies in its humility. Nothing here is new, and yet everything feels loved. It's a reminder that a little lace, a splash of green, and a touch of care can craft something timeless. Each of these patio ideas invites you to see your space differently, not through the lens of luxury brands or expensive installations, but through the heart of what makes a garden truly yours. Old teapots, crates, worn benches, flowers from your grandmother's backyard. The DIY magic is already within reach. All it takes is one inspired afternoon. (13) Creative Eco Patio with upcycled garden art. Tucked into the quiet rhythm of daily life, there exists a place where forgotten objects bloom into something new. In one small, whitewashed patio, an old metal chair, rusted by the years, stands proudly like a storyteller. Around it, wooden crates cling to the wall, now brimming with sprouting herbs and leafy cuttings. Below, deep drawer boxes filled with rich soil wait patiently for seeds and dreams. A mirror with a hand-painted frame reflects ivy from the outside world, expanding the room like a portal to nature. On the wall, spoons dangle like wind chimes, catching light and memory in each glint. And just above them, CDS spins slowly with the breeze, scattering soft rainbows across the worn floor. This isn't just a patio, it's a gallery of rebirth, proof that beauty can grow from anything, especially when nurtured by intention and love. Wander further into a brighter corner of creativity, where vintage suitcases bloom with green life, bursting with herbs and vibrant leaves. Around them, tire rims painted in bold colors are fixed to the wall like frames of living art. Even the smallest details are alive with charm. An upcycled bottle garland stretches across the patio sky, each flower-shaped piece catching sunlight and making it dance. The path beneath is lined with hand-cut stone, organic and playful, like puzzle pieces found in nature. Mason jars and reused containers painted in joyful tones cradle tiny succulents, as if the garden whispered, "Come closer, look what we've made from the past." It's a joyful celebration of imagination, one where form and function kiss under a recycled sun. And then, in a tucked-away patio bursting with color, rain boots in brilliant hues line a shelf like soldiers of spring, each one filled with thriving blooms. Calendars cradle green life, and kettle spouts pour out petals instead of tea. Tin cans, once destined for the bin, now shine in a spectrum of colors as hanging planters, spreading joy and greenery from every beam. Wooden pallets, transformed into vertical gardens, give life a stage to grow upon. A wind chime of teacups and wooden spoons adds a gentle clink to the air, the sound of afternoon peace. Even the wall becomes a mosaic, built from bottle caps arranged with care and artistry, turning waste into wonder. This is a patio of possibilities, where every color shouts with hope and every object sings the quiet hymn of second chances. These magical corners remind us that we don't need much to create something extraordinary. Just open eyes, a bit of paint, and the courage to dream with your hands. Let your patio become your canvas, not for perfection, but for a life richly lived. (14) Warm earth-tone desert patio with succulent garden. Tucked behind quiet walls and kissed by soft golden light, a small patio becomes a haven of earth, craft, and memory. Here, every object whispers a story of transformation. Rain boots once muddied by adventure now cradle vibrant blooms, and rows of tin cans, reborn in cheerful rainbow hues, sway gently with their leafy companions. Hanging from weathered pallets, repurposed cups and wind chimes bring music to the breeze, their gentle tinkling a lullaby for the soul. A patchwork mosaic of bottle caps gleams proudly on the wall, a colorful tribute to human ingenuity and playful spirit. This is not just a garden, it's a patch of magic where joy grows freely, where reuse becomes art, and where sustainability finds its voice in the language of flowers. Just a few steps away, another corner unfolds like a page in a fairy tale. The ground beneath is paved with stone paths, their irregular shapes echoing nature's wild rhythm. Painted mason jars cradle succulents like jewels nestled in soil, and vintage suitcases, flung open as if mid-journey, now hold fragrant herbs. An old ladder has climbed its way into purpose again, holding bright flower pots like trophies of rebirth. Colorful tires hug the walls, transformed into joyful pockets of green, while a garland of plastic bottle flowers dances above, catching the sunlight and casting playful shadows. This is a patio that smiles, unapologetically bold, wonderfully nostalgic, and always alive with surprise. It teaches us that beauty doesn't demand perfection, only intention. Then, hidden in a quieter nook, sits a sanctuary of stillness and rusted charm. Wooden crates stack like vintage books, their surfaces lined with humble potted greens. Old drawers, once forgotten, now hold promise in rich dark soil, waiting for seeds to speak. In the center, a weathered iron chair bears its rust with pride, becoming part of the story rather than something to hide. Suspended above, a curtain of old spoons sways softly beside glinting CDS, sun catchers that scatter rainbows across the painted mirror, reflecting life as it grows. This is a garden that breathes slowly, a handmade temple of time and tenderness. It invites you to sit, to breathe, to remember what can be made from what once was left behind. Together, these patios remind us that luxury is not always a matter of money. It can be found in moments, in texture, in the light that touches old things and makes them new again. Let this be your invitation, to create, to imagine, and to rediscover your space as a canvas for joy, no matter how small it may be. (15) Relaxing patio hammock corner with canopy shade. In the stillness of the desert sun, where earth and light embrace, a small patio transforms into a haven of simple luxury. Warm terracotta tiles stretch out like the desert floor, holding oversized clay pots that cradle agave, aloe, and golden barrel cacti. Their sculptural forms echo the geometry of sun-baked lands, offering a quiet strength that needs no words. A woven rug in shades of sand and burnt orange anchors the space, while low wooden benches and leather cushions invite you to linger longer than planned. This is not just a place to sit, it's a moment carved from earth, light, and shadow, where every detail honors the quiet beauty of nature's palette. Not far from that earthy calm, a curved path of pale stepping stones winds through a courtyard wrapped in adobe walls. The path feels like a journey, meandering between cracked ceramic pots that cradle spiky succulents and agaves. The edge is softened with smooth river rocks, balanced in meditative stacks. Driftwood pieces rise like ancient sculptures, whispering stories of wind and water. A hammock swings gently between sturdy posts, shaded by canvas above and kissed by the last rays of golden light. Here, the desert feels alive, not in bloom, but in balance. And the lesson is clear: you don't need excess to feel abundance, only intention in placement, texture, and breath. Then there's the courtyard where the desert meets soft serenity, baskets and pots overflowing with trailing succulents and blooms of dusty pink. The colors are muted but magical, as though the garden has been washed in sunlight. Pampas grass sways behind a circle of weathered stone, framing a low chiminea that feels like the heart of the space. Reclaimed wood becomes a bench, surrounded by woven textures and natural elements. Every piece feels chosen, not placed. This is a design that thrives without water or worry, resilient, graceful, and infused with soul. The garden doesn't shout for attention, yet it captures it, not with extravagance, but with the quiet poetry of thoughtful curation. Now, imagine stepping into a shaded corner where green ferns lean in as if to whisper calm. A striped hammock stretches gently beneath a bamboo canopy, where soft white linen catches dappled sunlight filtering through fluttering leaves. All around, planters burst with tropical foliage, pothoes, ferns, and bird of paradise, offering a symphony of textures and shapes. A woven ottoman waits nearby, topped with a tray of herbal tea, fruit, and quiet time. This garden isn't loud, but it sings. It's a reminder that even in a small space, with a few thoughtful elements, we can craft a sanctuary. All it takes is a bit of shade, a gentle swing, and the patience to listen to what nature wants to say. And in another breath of serenity, a hammock floats like a cloud beneath a canopy of jasmine. Its macrame details flutter with every breeze, surrounded by trailing vines and woven lanterns that glow with the promise of twilight. Beneath, soft pillows rest on a patterned rug, an invitation to slow down, to let time stretch. Here, the air smells of green and bloom, and the only task is rest. This boho garden isn't about rules or trends. It's about creating a personal refuge, one where texture and tone tell a story that feels both ancient and new. It feels like a dream, but you could build it tomorrow. Lastly, the quietest corner, tucked between whitewashed walls, a canvas hammock cradles soft pillows like a gentle embrace. Above, vines spill dappled shadows across the floor. Around it, terracotta pots hold lavender and mint, their scent released with every breeze. A stump of wood becomes a side table, steady and silent, holding tea and a book mid-thought. It's the simplest setup, yet it breathes tranquility. Here, nature isn't ornamental, it's present, grounding, and healing. The kind of peace that doesn't ask for anything in return. These spaces remind us that luxury doesn't come from size or cost, but from intention, balance, and beauty drawn from the earth itself. And more than that, they show us that with just a hammock, a few plants, and a bit of care, anyone can build a paradise. (16) Cozy covered patio design for rainy weather. On a gentle patio hidden away from the rush of the world, a hammock swings softly beneath a striped canvas canopy. The bamboo frame holding it seems to blend seamlessly with the surrounding foliage, lush ferns, tall birds of paradise, and delicate pothose vines. This is a sanctuary sculpted from real textures: the grain of the bamboo, the softness of the cloth, the earthy fragrance of tropical leaves. A woven cushion nearby cradles a tray filled with tea and sliced fruit, offering a moment of stillness. This space invites not grandeur, but grounded comfort, reminding us that luxury can be found in how the air feels against your skin and how a single breath of nature can calm the soul. Elsewhere, a pergola woven with jasmine vines wraps a macrame hammock in a dream of bohemian charm. The hammock sways gently, suspended between two wooden posts, while lanterns above shimmer with golden light. A patterned rug softens the ground, bordered by leafy palms and blushing blooms. The space glows like a hidden courtyard in a fairy tale, a garden crafted not with extravagance, but with texture, softness, and soul. With some macrame rope, a few pillows, and the quiet intention to create a retreat, anyone could recreate this magical escape in a weekend. You don't need much, just a willingness to turn your outdoor corner into a cradle of peace and personal style. Then, tucked away in a quiet nook, a more minimal haven offers the simplest form of rest. A baize hammock hugs a soft pillow between two whitewashed walls, shaded by light fabric overhead. Beneath it, terracotta pots brim with lavender and mint, the scent a soft lullaby with every breeze. A rustic tree stump table stands ready with a cup of tea and a book left mid-sentence. The light here dances gently through vine-covered shadows. This is a space stripped of excess and rich in presence. A perfect place to lie still and let the earth remind you how to breathe deeply again. And when rain comes, it doesn't need to be a reason to stay inside. A transparent canopy shelters a patio nook, where raindrops tap 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 in a soft lullaby above. Hanging ferns drip in rhythm, while cozy textures wrap a simple bench, pillows, a thick knitted throw, and a warm drink waiting on a tray. The puddles reflect tiny fairy lights flickering in jars, and the entire corner glows with a hushed sort of joy. Creating this space is about embracing the elements, not hiding from them. With a bit of cover, soft lighting, and waterproof cushions, even rainy days can become your favorite reason to be outside. In another scene, rain paints the floor like a watercolor while vines climb eagerly up a wooden pergola. Thick cushions line rustic benches, and a simple oil lamp glows gently in the corner. Basil and mint grow in abundance from planter boxes, filling the air with the scent of green life. The curtain billows slightly with the wind, letting in light and motion in equal measure. This is a space made for lingering, a place to sip something warm, listen to the hush of the rain, and feel completely at home in the soft rhythm of nature's breath. And finally, behind clear glass walls dotted with raindrops, a quiet corner beckons. A rattan chair draped with a gray blanket waits beside a wooden table. A cup of tea steams gently beside a well-loved book, and the plants, so many kinds, with so many leaves, breathe out a lush stillness. The wind chime sways with every breeze. This is a sanctuary for the senses, protected from the rain, yet completely in tune with it. And best of all, it's completely achievable. A few pots, a cozy seat, and the courage to claim even the grayest day as your own moment of peace. Each of these patios is more than a design, it's a story waiting to be lived. You don't need endless space or endless money. Just intention, softness, and the desire to make beauty a part of everyday life. If this video sparked a vision for your own patio, Don't let it stay an idea. Start small and make it yours. Hit like if you found inspiration, subscribe for more cozy and creative outdoor ideas, and remember, sometimes the most magical places are just a few steps out your back door. See you in the next one, only on Backyard Fortune.